Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Movie Star Monday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I am great. How are you?
Very good. Super excited for my Movie Star Monday guest.
I am too, actually.
For today. We were going to have him as our guest last week, and then he had an issue. He had a dental problem, not a mental problem. And he was like, hey, can we do this another time? I had a tooth. So it was like, well, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. So then we ended up having a Music Star Monday last week. But Movie Star Monday returns this week with Dave Thomas. And
How
for
cool
those
is
of you
that?
who ever watched the movie Strange Brew, he was Doug McKenzie.
And he was on SCTV.
And on Saturday Night Live and many other movies. Super excited to have Dave Thomas later in the program for our Movie Star Monday. I've got a quote for today as well. It's from Jim Rohn. He says, either you run the day or the day runs you. That is so true. Either you have a plan or you just take whatever happens. And I like it a whole lot better when I have a plan. Otherwise, you get
a lot of times the day runs us.
It does. I get to the end of the day and I'm like, oh, man, here's my to-do list from like last Tuesday. Still haven't got to it. Working on it, though. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Movie Star Monday.
If you're a business owner trying to do your own website, maybe it's time to get help. Or if you don't even have a website, it's definitely time for help. It's 2018. This internet thing is here to stay. At 49bydesign.com, we offer a simple plan to get you online for just $49 a month with no setup fee. This includes a website with the hosting and domain name included in the price. We have larger packages available, but this will get you online so people can find you in 2018. We're affordable by design at 49bydesign.com. That's 49bydesign.com.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you would never ask. It is Monday, the 9th day of July. Today is National Sugar Cookie Day. Now, I got to say something. It seems like a weird time of year for this to be Sugar Cookie Day, doesn't it?
It does, but...
This is almost synonymous with Christmas. But you can have sugar cookies year-round. I just don't see a lot of sugar cookies this time of year.
My mom makes sugar cookies all year long. My great-grandmother's recipe.
They're like thicker than most, too.
Yes, they're not typical. They are so amazing.
It's almost like taking a bite out of a loaf of bread.
They're so good.
What is this? It's a sugar cookie. It is? I was about to put a piece of ham between two of these. This is it's a delicious cookie.
They don't taste like bread.
No, they don't. But it's like eating a slice of bread. That's how big they are. It's huge. So, and they're very fluffy.
They're so good.
A lot of times, like a sugar cookie, if you dropped it from like 2 inches off the table, it would shatter into pieces. Not this one. It would bounce back up and hit your hand. So, anyway, today is National Sugar Cookie Day.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All-American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. That's 800-818-3967. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Coming up, we've got your brain on drugs, but first, a man found something a little fishy while he was off fishing off the coast of Florida, and it wasn't a fish, it wasn't a boot, it was a brick of marijuana. Yeah. He said, I got my birthday gift a little early from Pablo Escobar, he joked. Mr. What is his name in here? George Bustamante. Said he found the floating seaweed, see what they say there, with some mahi and kingfish while he was out fishing near Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And it says the Coast Guard, he notified the Coast Guard and handed it over before snapping the photo. You wouldn't want to take a photo and let people know you found this, would you? Because somebody lost that. Do you want them to know that you were the one that found it? I don't think I would.
Well, just because you found it doesn't mean it's not like you kept it.
No, he gave it to them, but wouldn't they be upset with him for handing it over? I don't know.
Who are they supposed to give it to? It's not like he knew who it belonged to.
Excuse me, drug dealers, is this yours? Probably
Can
not.
you describe your
It is a brick.
Weed.
Doesn't say here how much that it was worth. Probably not much because it was floating in seawater, so probably not a lot. Again, I thought it was funny they called it seaweed. That's cool. We've got your brain on drugs coming right up.
This time of year, there are many parties, weddings, cookouts, and other events that often include alcohol. If you're drinking, be sure to have a designated driver. If you or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, there is help. The Addiction Hope and Helpline wants to help. If you feel like it's time to finally get the help you need, there's a toll-free number you can call, 1-800-438-0380. That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline, 1-800-438-0380, 1-800-438-0380.
John and Heidi.
And this is your Brain on Drugs. Police in Bow and Concord, which are two separate towns in New Hampshire, said they arrested the same man just hours apart, charges of driving under the influence. Bad idea. 33-year-old Benjamin Benoit was arrested when police received a report of a person at a gas station. It was him. He fell asleep in the driver's seat of the car. Then he was arrested again early Friday morning when he got tired again and he passed out in a gas station parking lot again. So he was arrested, then let go, then he was arrested again, all within just a few hours. That's just such a terrible idea. It says here he's facing multiple charges of driving under the influence, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of stolen property. He's scheduled to appear in court on July 5th, which was already happened, and then July 12th is the next one. So two different charges of drinking and driving, or under the influence behind the wheel anyway, because I think he was sleeping for both of them. But bad idea. Just terrible idea. Don't do that. That's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen. Usually during this time, we talk about somebody that's on television or in movies. And today we're going to talk about somebody that's been on television, been in a different role. We're going to talk about Duke, the golden retriever from the Bush Baked Beans commercials. Duke passed away.
Oh.
Sad, sad story here. Now, his real name was Sam. He died last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago now. I've had this for a while. It was sent to me. He's from Knoxville. Knoxville-based Bush Baked Beans confirmed the passing of one of their sports dogs. They've had several different Dukes over the years, and Sam recently passed away. It says, while Sam was not featured in our latest advertisements, we're saddened by the news of his passing and grateful to have had him depict Duke. Now, my guest later in the program today is going to be Dave Thomas, not the Dave Thomas from Wendy's, but the Dave Thomas that's the actor. He's our Movie Star Monday guest. But I remember where I was at when Dave Thomas from Wendy's passed away. Do you remember that?
I don't remember where I was at. I remember you talking about, for whatever reason, you had a
I just thought he
weird
was really
fascination with that guy.
I
You
don't
were
know.
so upset. I remember where we were, but you were so
We were on
upset.
vacation in Mexico, and it was on the radio.
I was like, you were
Like,
so weird.
the founder of Wendy's, Dave Thomas, passed away. And I was like, Heidi, Dave Thomas passed away. You're like,
Who?
okay. You're like, the founder of Wendy's. I was talking to her. She's like, you going to be okay? Do you need a moment? And I was like, I just thought it was
so bizarre.
He seemed like such a nice guy.
I was
So,
really
I
rethinking
don't
the
know.
whole marriage
She's
thing.
like, oh, we're celebrating our 1 year anniversary, but I don't know.
I don't know if this is going to work.
Well, I have Dave Thomas on the program today. The Dave Thomas, the actor, one of the gentlemen from the movie Strange Brew and many other things that he's been in. He'll be our Movie Star Monday guest. But again, sad news here. Sam, who played Duke from the Baked Beans commercials, Bush's Baked Beans, passed away. Thanks for listening to Big Screen, Little Screen on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-719-5601. 800-719-5601. That's 800-719-5601.
Now your scoop of the day, courtesy of 80sinthesand.com. Knoxville firefighters say that distracted drivers are forcing them to go slower while responding to calls, and it's putting the first responders in danger, and it's putting the people waiting for the first responders in danger. They say it's not only dangerous for us, it's dangerous for the people that are texting. If we can't get stopped, or if we have an accident, our truck is a lot bigger and heavier, and we're going to cause some damage to your vehicle. Firefighters experience close calls every day. Even with their lights and sirens on, they still see people who lights and sirens blazing and flashing.
Well, I don't know that young kids today are even aware that you're supposed to pull over for those vehicles, because I see them all the time. They just don't move.
Keep on driving. I'm like, dudes, pull over. What are you doing? Why are you driving? And they're like right in the way, and they're honking the horn and blowing the horn and doing all the stuff trying to get them out of the way. And they're like, oh, I'm going this way. I don't care. Get out of the way.
Pull over.
I've got a link to that story. Also, police officers say there's no such thing as a routine traffic stop. And they encountered some interesting stuff on the road. And this here story comes from what is it called? A&E has a TV program called Live PD. Have you seen this?
No.
I've never seen it. Sounds like it'd be interesting, though. And this particular stop happened on June 16th. The show has cameramen embedded where they go with the police officers during nighttime patrol. And on this particular night, they pull a gentleman over, and they notice a string attached to his windshield wiper, and it goes inside. And the officers, so what's this all about? And the gentleman's face was blurred out because he didn't give permission to use his likeness on television. But it was a rope, a little string tied to the wiper blades, and he would use that to pull the wipers back and forth because they didn't work anymore. And the officers said, very innovative. It's very innovative. And they gave him a warning, and they gave him instructions to get the wipers fixed properly. He said, I'm pretty impressed how he MacGyvered it up.
Oh, my goodness.
We let him go with a warning on it, but it's not the proper way to do that. I just thought that was pretty clever. Like, that's, you know what?
Oh,
A for
wow.
effort, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
It's ingenious. Now, here's a bizarre story. This may be our last story because it's a longer story. But a weird metal object washed ashore on the beach in North Carolina, and it's left residents and officials just stumped. Very odd debris first appeared along the shore of the town of Corolla at the start of the year, and there was a series of winter storms that they think is what kind of brought this. It set it in the sand there. It's been there now for 6 months or so without anybody really knowing what it is. With summer in full bloom, there's a lot of tourists, and there's people snapping photos of this thing, and nobody still knows what it is. It's garnered the attention and the imagination of the community. An enigmatic, am I saying that right? I don't know.
I'm sure you are.
Could be our grandiloquent word someday. An enigmatic piece of, it says here, sports a solar-powered light, which still works, extending from a pole near the center of the object. Aside from that detail, there's little about the object that indicates where it came from or what it is. There are some that think maybe it was a satellite that fell down. Anyway, one can imagine speculation about the object has run a gamut from possibilities. Some propose that it is prosaic explanation, that it could be a mundane piece of equipment from a ship, perhaps a buoy. Others think that maybe it's even something from Russia or from outer space. Anyway, nobody really knows what it is, but a lot of people are guessing. And if you want a glimpse of what it looks like, I've got a link to it in our show notes in the Scoop of the Day section. And there's a local website there that says the National Park Service has conceded that they don't know what the object is. Meanwhile, a different media outlet determined that neither the Navy nor the Army Corps of Engineers have taken ownership of the object. They say it's not ours. We don't know what it is. The sand has made removing the object a little bit difficult. So it's still there, and it's kind of become a tourist attraction, Heidi. So if you know what it is,
well, there you go.
Let somebody know because everybody's trying to figure it out. I've got a link to the story in our show notes, and it's in the Scoop of the Day section at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
Do you have ideas for t-shirt designs, but you don't have a clue how to print them? Or maybe you'd like to have t-shirts and coffee mugs available to buy online with your business logo printed on them. There's a website that makes it easy. We set ours up in about 10 minutes. There's no sign-up fee, no minimum orders, no monthly fees. It's just a really easy way to put some cool items online for sale, and you get paid every time somebody buys them. You don't have to print or ship anything. Just sign up, upload your designs, and then let people know where they can get your cool stuff. More details available at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest joining us, actor Dave Thomas. Very, very funny man. I remember as a child watching Dave Thomas on SCTV and Saturday Night Live, and then one of my favorite movies of all time, Strange Brew, came out. And Dave, I love that movie. We just introduced our kids to it about a month ago. We had them watch it, and they were laughing as well. It's a very, very funny movie. How have you been, sir?
Good. Not too bad for an old fool.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to visit with me. I'm super excited to chat with you right now. Now, one of the things that I was reading when I was doing a little research, I see that the movie Strange Brew was the highest box office grossing movie of 1983 in the country of Canada. That's got to feel really cool to know that in your home country, people just love you.
Yes, that was good. I actually have a little statue for that. To the highest grossing movie of the year.
That is really, really cool. Now, when you were coming up with the character for Doug and Bob McKenzie, when you guys were working on that, Did you think that it was going to turn into something that it has? Because that's like iconic. I see T-shirts with your image on it.
No, honestly, we didn't have a clue. It was really only until after that it continually surprised us. The franchise seemed to endure and endure. A few years after the movie, the record album, Pizza Hut asked us to do some spots for them. So we did some Pizza Hut spots. And then Jiffy Lube, they asked us to do spots for them, and so we did those. Then Pizza Hut called us back, said they wanted more spots. And then the Miller Brewing Company was launching Molson's beer in the U.S. They wanted us to represent that launch and do some television commercials. So, Todd McFarlane, the creator of Spawn, decided to put out some action figures, some Bob and Doug action figures. Then I found out we were listed on a game called Trivial Pursuit and Jeopardy. But over the years, it just kept creeping further and further into the culture. Even we did this movie Brother Bear for Disney, and they wanted us to play the two Moose characters as Bob and Doug McKenzie. So, it's a franchise that still seems to have life in it. And that is very surprising to both Rick and I.
I think it's really cool, and it's got to make you feel really good. Now, when you were talking about some of the advertising things that you had a chance to do, what some people may not know is that's kind of where you got your start, is in the advertising world, and then you transitioned into doing movies and television. So how different is it going from the advertising world into writing movies and writing television skits?
Well, night and day, because it's good training, really, because advertising, I would describe it as kind of a haiku form of writing compared to longer-form TV stuff. Because you have to say an awful lot in 30 seconds. If you learn how to do that, it teaches you the kind of economy of audio-video form later, and you can use the time that you have in a half-hour show or an hour show or a 90-minute show, much more judiciously, because you learn how to sell a message in 30 seconds.
And it is a lot more difficult to try to get everything across in 30 seconds than it is if you have a half hour to say it.
Yeah. Of course, in a commercial, the box of soap is the hero, not the actor playing the lead role. But if you really break it down, the kind of content that you have to put in there for the sponsor is very similar to the kind of content that you have to put into a half-hour show or an hour show that gives the audience information about characters, gives the audience a story, plot line information, and so on. It's all information, that needs to be economically laid out in the audio-video form.
You're a writing credit on even more things that you've done than acting. So you're a very accomplished writer in addition to people knowing you as an actor.
Well, I never really thought of myself as an actor. I always thought of myself as more of a writer. The only reason I did the acting is because they were stupid enough to pay me to do it. So, you really kind of get paid for clowning around. I thought it was kind of nice and fun, and so I did it,
When you and Rick Moranis worked together, did you have a kind of a brother-like relationship? You guys get along pretty well?
Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Those two characters in particular, we had to be in sync, meaning that we really had to know what the other guy was thinking before he said anything. And because they were improvised, that made that reliance on being in sync even more strong.
That's going to do it for our interview with Dave Thomas, but we're not completely done. We're going to come back next week, and we're going to talk about an SCTV reunion coming to Netflix. We're going to talk about some other fun stuff as well. So part 2 of our Movie Star Monday with Dave Thomas will resume next week. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
If you're a business owner, you should consider using radio. Radio is a powerful tool. Over 90% of us listen to the radio each week. Imagine if this ad was talking about your business, helping you hit your goals. We can help. We can also create a fun jingle, too, to get people singing your song. When you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable, and that makes radio work even better. Learn more at RadioReallyWorks.com. Radio jingles to help you get better results with the money you're already spending. RadioReallyWorks.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Rocky Marciano is the only heavyweight boxing champ to finish his career of 49 fights without ever having been defeated.
Wow.
How cool is that? That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
You would find the Cresta Run in Switzerland. Now, Cresta Run, is that a place? Is that an event? What is that?
I don't know.
Whatever it is, you'll find it in Switzerland. I didn't even know I was looking for it.
I would assume it's a ski slope.
Well, the first thing that we just talked about had to do with sports, and this next thing has to do with sports, so maybe it is a run. It must be an event. Because our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Bjorn Borg has won the men's tennis singles at Wimbledon 5 times.
Bjorn.
I just like saying the name, Bjorn Borg. Bjorn Borg.
I'm going to try and convince our daughter to name her child Bjorn.
Bjorn Small doesn't sound as good as Bjorn Borg. But I guess if she's getting married to somebody...
It could be Bjorn Borg Small.
But
she wouldn't be a small
likely,
anymore anyway.
Yeah, she'll be married to somebody, so they got to have a fun last name. And then it could be Bjorn.
Bjorn.
Baby Bjorn. Thanks for listening. I think it's a cool name. So if you're Bjorn and you're listening, don't get scorned. Don't get mad. We're happy.
It's just not a very common name.
No, it's cool.
In the United States.
I think it's pretty cool. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday.
John and Heidi.
If you're a business owner trying to do your own website, maybe it's time to get help. Or if you don't even have a website, it's definitely time for help. It's 2018. This internet thing is here to stay. At 49bydesign.com, we offer a simple plan to get you online for just $49 a month with no setup fee. This includes a website with the hosting and domain name included in the price. We have larger packages available, but this will get you online so people can find you in 2018. We're affordable by design at 49bydesign.com. That's 49bydesign.com.
John and Heidi.
Time now for the grandiloquent word of the day. I don't know if we've done this one or not. This is an oldie but a goodie because I was looking through trying to find a fun one. Curlish, or churlish, I think is probably how I say it. Churlish. Have we done that one?
I don't believe so.
Churlish. Churlish. Churlish is rude and vulgar and boorish.
Well, there you go.
Churlish. That is a pretty good grandiloquent word. The word churlish, again, Churlish, in a sentence says, if you don't stop acting so churlish, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. What do you think of that?
There you go.
That might be the simplest grandiloquent word sentence we've ever had.
I believe it is.
I understand every word in that sentence, even churlish. I get it. Usually, they have words around the word that are more difficult than the word, and they don't tell you what those things mean, so the sentence doesn't mean a lot. But today, it actually worked. Today's grandiloquent word, churlish. Churlish. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday.
John and Heidi.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-719-5601. 800-719-5601. That's 800-719-5601.
Now, some weird news for you on this Monday. Kevin Lewis rides his bike all the time, but what happened to him at about 4 a.m. last Tuesday still kind of took him by surprise. He saw a police officer at the Rite Aid parking lot as he passed him. He saw the lights go on, and the man pulled him over. He said, hey, if you get some lights and registration when you go to court, the ticket could be reduced or dropped, because he didn't have any lights and didn't have any sort of registration on his bicycle. The next day, he finally had a chance to look at this 4 different offenses, totaled $920.
Yikes.
He's like, whoa, $920? So they charged him with improper lane usage. Traffic laws apply to people riding bicycles as well. Bicycle equipment and bicycle registration required because he was driving the wrong way in the traffic. He says, that's more than my rent.
Yeah, exactly.
He said, I think the police have a lot of discretion in terms of issuing citations. He works for a law firm, so okay. See, he works for a law firm, so he's trying to figure this out. Yep. Anyway, it says here that he got a phone call from the police and an email from the mayor, and he said he realizes that he was going the wrong way. I'm willing to pay a fine for that, but $300 twice too. It feels like I'm being extorted. He said I thought it was super excessive because $920 total.
And he was on a bicycle.
On a bicycle.
That's ridiculous.
At 4 a.m.
No, I could see that.
But here's the thing. At 4 a.m. with no lights on it. Put some lights on it. That's dangerous for you, too.
Okay,
dude.
It's dangerous for him, but...
Yeah, and for a driver. Can you imagine hitting a person on a bicycle? You wouldn't feel good about that. That'd be bad.
I don't know. That seems a bit extreme.
It might be extreme. But again, if you want to read the entire story...
I'm sure he had reflectors.
Details, you can find them in our show notes at johnandheidishow.com. Now your moment of duh. A woman from Ellis County is seeking $1 million in damages from a buffet, a Chinese buffet, claiming she got fried rice syndrome after eating there.
What is fried rice syndrome?
62-year-old woman Jermaine Mobley says she went to eat at the Asian King buffet with a friend in 2016, a repeat customer. She says after her meal she didn't notice anything wrong, but she purchased and consumed fried rice. Everything tasted fine. After we ate, I started to not feel well on the drive home, and she got back, and her health had worsened. She started getting sick the next morning. She was having problems breathing. They called an ambulance.
What is it?
And they say it's a result of consuming fried rice. So apparently she got some toxins that could be in the food if they set it at room temperature. The FDA says that it's commonly found in rice and causes a thing called fried rice syndrome.
Okay.
And it's described by people who get an illness from eating fried rice dishes. Anyway, when it was all said and done, she says it sounds like a joke, but it's very serious. This restaurant didn't maintain the food properly at the proper temperature, and they kept it out for a long period of time. She had to go through 3 months of rehab because of this. She says, I would not eat rice off a buffet or anywhere. So I've never heard of such a thing.
I did not even know that was a thing.
I've got a link to the story.
Idea.
$1 million, though, for the fried rice? That must have been a lot of rehab that she had to go to. But I've got a link to the story if you want to read all about it. It's in the moment of duh in our show notes at johnandheidishow.com.
This time of year, there are many parties, weddings, cookouts, and other events that often include alcohol. If you're drinking, be sure to have a designated driver. If you or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, there is help. The Addiction Hope and Helpline wants to help. If you feel like it's time to finally get the help you need, there's a toll-free number you can call, 1-800-438-0380. That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline, 1-800-438-0380, 1-800-438-0380.
Time now for fake news or Florida. Heidi, tell me if this is something that really truly happened in the great state of Florida or something that we just made up to try to trick you. You ready?
I am ready.
All right. How about this one? A Florida teen is behind bars for putting his teacher in intensive care after beating her up for giving him summer school. Fake news or Florida?
I'm going to say Florida.
Sadly, fake news. No, I shouldn't say sadly. I'm glad that's fake news. Sadly for you, you didn't get it right this time. That is fake news, so I made that one up. And let me look and see if I can get another one. I'm trying to find... I haven't edited all of these down. We'll do this one right here. Fake news or Florida? A Florida grandmother is being investigated for bringing drug-laced cookies to a church function fundraiser for the homeless. Fake news or Florida?
Florida.
Fake news as well. You got
me
both wrong.
Twice.
I know, because I've been making it too easy. I've been doing one real and one fake. I had to throw you off today. So... now I got to come up with more fake news. If you happen to have some good fake news that you want to make up, you can submit that to us at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. It comes your way courtesy of Odiva. That is a monthly subscription service just for the ladies. All the details at radiosavings.com. Now, this is good news for some, and for others, it's like, whatever. But I think this is kind of a cool story, and I know there are some people out there that this is going to be a really big deal. It's just how technology has revolutionized hair loss solutions. Hair loss can be an unfortunate fact of life for many people, and while some come to terms with their loss of locks, others find it harder to adjust. As a result, hair loss treatments have remained high in demand, and technology improvements now offer better choices. They have invasive technology for hair implants, FEU, and 3D hair follicle technology. But here's the cool thing. They've got new hair transplants that are, throughout the years, they sometimes, in the past, they didn't look real at all. It looked like a doll head, where you had like little spots with a bunch of hairs all jammed in. But they've got the future of transplants now. 3D printing of hair transplants. It's new It's a new technology, and there's some info on this. And then hair prosthetics. It says wig technology has improved by leaps and bounds over the years, with hair prosthetics being designed as custom-made wigs to specifically suit each individual person. So I've got all of this story. There's a whole, it's a whole bunch of details here, Heidi. And
hair loss isn't anything that I would ever consider a negative. And I know that men are very, very self-conscious of it, but that's not something that bothers me.
And I can tell you this: there are some men who look better with no hair.
Absolutely, there are.
There are some famous people that we've always known them as, having no hair, and then you see photos of them when they had hair. You're like, well,
they looked bizarre. Yeah,
they look funny with hair. The Rock is one of them. He shaves his head down to almost nothing, and I saw a picture of him when he had curly hair.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, he just looks so different with his hair like that. So I don't think that it's a bad thing. And many men who are ashamed of having, a thin hair here and there, you need to understand that that's you. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't. Right. Charlie, Heidi's dad, he's bald. He would look funny to me with hair. I just can't even imagine what he would look like with. Or I can, because I saw him with a wig and he looked very funny. So we did that one time for Halloween. He was wearing a wig and I was like, I just can't get used to you with hair. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye to everybody. Goodbye, everybody. Rather, what am I trying to say?
Goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye to everybody. I have a link to this story and everything else in our show notes at johnandheidishow.com.